What are we doing this week, Ben?
Well, it's Oscar season, so we're doing Oscar-nominated movies. You've brought to the table Saltburn.
Saltburn, which is nominated for none.
Yeah, exactly. You've talked me into doing Oscar season and then brought a non-nominated movie and gone, yeah, it's Oscar season, mate.
There was a talk a couple years back about like the People's Choice Award for, primarily for Marvel movies. They were like, look, movies that are huge and have had massive box office or sort of cultural impact should be covered. This is my little entry into, I was certain that this was going to be Oscar nominated. I'd already mentally in my head gone, right, we'll do Saltburn, we'll do a list of films that we were going to cover. Yeah. And then the nominations came out and I was like, well, fuck it, I'm doing it anyway.
It deserves it, man. It's a fucking great movie.
Yeah. And for me personally, I've never had as wide an array of teenagers and young 20-year-olds who I have never once spoken to about films.
Right.
Come up to me and go, you've got a podcast, right? You've seen Saltburn? And just wanting to talk about Saltburn.
I mean,
it's weird. Like, I work in a restaurant and almost every member of front of house,
right,
some of whom I don't think have ever seen a film,
right,
want to talk about Saltburn.
Okay. Well, that clears it up because I was like, it is pretty weird because you've just said that how many teens and young 20-year-olds come up to you. And I'm like, Rob, as a 35-year-old man, I think I know of a couple of those people, but I'm not certain that they actually exist anymore.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
It's made going to the supermarket a fucking nightmare.
Oh.
I'm just trying to choose bread and the teenagers keep coming. You've got a podcast, right?
You've got a podcast,
you see
right?
Saltburn.
Cut me bathwater. Let's have a chat about it, mate. I just want to buy my fucking porridge. Can we not?
Yeah, come on, mate. How much Belle Delphine did you buy anyway? Saltburn was directed by Midge from Barbie, otherwise known as Emerald Fennell.
Is it actually Midge from Barbie?
Yeah, she's an actress as well. She played Midge in Barbie.
Sick.
She's on Call the Midwife. She's done a whole bunch of stuff.
Sick.
Including directing Promising Young Woman. It's got Barry Keoghan.
Great fucking movie.
Great movie, right?
Great fucking movie.
Barry Keoghan, who TikTok taught me how to pronounce. Thank you, TikTok.
Half of them were wrong, but it was fine.
It's regional dialects, dude. Some people say it differently. I just said it wrong in every dialect.
Yeah, I guess. Fine. I was about to go on a little rant, but it's fine.
This came out in 2023. It was made for, sources are sketchy on this, but we tried our best, between 10 and 31 million. Now, it definitely made 21 million. So it's either an absolute disaster financially or a massive double the money.
Yeah,
who can tell?
It's either a flop or did all right with a 10 mil window either way. So I guess you decide.
Cheeky 10 mil, mate. Who cared? 10 mil, whatever.
Fucking...
You can make like 8 Craig Zahler movies for that.
Yeah. You won't pay for them that way, though.
Craig Zahler would have to make 50 movies to make 10 mil. But
I don't think his 3 films collectively haven't made that money.
No.
Okay, good.
And I wanted to bring it because I think it's a genuinely good example of interesting, fun, indie filmmaking. It's not the first to tell this story. People have rightly pointed out it's very much rooted in things like Talented Mr. Ripley and Brideshead Revisited and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the first to tell the story, nor is it the best movie of all time, but it is a good time for 2 hours.
It's a fucking great time. Are you being serious?
Right. Exactly.
Dude.
I don't think every movie has to sort of take on the mantle of being, well, it's not The Godfather Part 2, is it? Of course it's fucking not. Emerald Fennell made this. So like I said, she played Midge in Barbie. She's got a successful acting career, but she also wrote Promising Young Woman.
Fucking great movie.
Which was a great movie that landed really well, in part due to a controversy with Variety magazine. Where Dennis Harvey wrote that Carey Mulligan, who plays the central role in Promising Young Woman, was skillful, entertaining, and challenging, but questioned her casting, writing that she wore her pickup bait gear like bad drag. Even her long blonde hair seems to put on. He speculated that producer Margot Robbie may have once been intended for the role instead. Which Mulligan came back and said, I felt like it's basically saying I wasn't hot enough to play the role.
It's just been sort of like, well, I'm sorry, is she supposed to be fit? Because she's wearing that like a man who's new to drag. What the fuck sort of review of that?
Right. I mean, he did come back and say, I'm a 60-year-old gay man and I don't really spend my evenings comparing the hotness of young women. But
that's exactly what you fucking
said,
did.
And we know what you meant. Yeah, exactly.
Like, what do you want to do? You can't just sit there and go, yeah, but she's a minger. Whoa. I don't judge people on their looks. Whoa. Put words in my fucking mouth.
And Barry Keoghan is obviously the lead in this. He broke out in Banshees, which we covered about this time last year, actually. So go check that out.
Great movie.
But he was also in Killing of a Sacred Deer. So as a project for these two to come together, I think it's understandable why there was buzz. I don't necessarily know why it connected as well as it did.
So it was out in the cinema for like a month, right?
Right.
And then it was immediately available on streaming services. And it was available on streaming services over the Christmas break. So everyone had access to it.
It's a real sit down with the family festive.
Oh man, it's Christmas 101. Like I literally when my nephews and nieces are sitting around, gathered around, opening the presents of like, toys and presents, and my great nephew is just, he's just ripped open his new Spider-Man. The one thing that I'm like, do you know what would make this more Christmassy? Barry Keoghan drinking cummy water out of a bathtub. Tongue punching that fucking drain hole. That's the one thing where I'm like, ring the bells. Where's the mistletoe?
Yeah.
Someone pass me a mince pie.
Also, weirdly, I think there's 50 years of women being sexualized in cinema. This is very much like a female gaze movie. All the nudity is male nudity.
They're called lesbians, Rob.
The lust is... Right, okay. Cinematography in this film is incredible, right?
Mind-blowing. Like, utterly gorgeous. It's shot like it should be a fucking episode of Downton Abbey. You know what I mean? Like, everything is gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, you've got the graveyard scene, so in a way it is a period drama.
Kinda, yeah. A fun fact about the grave scene. I was watching Loki earlier and realised that the art director on Loki also worked on the grave scene.
What? So, sorry, the scene between Venetia or the scene where Barry Keoghan's dry humping the earth.
Oh, he's not dry humping, man. He is like balls deep. The marble bag is out when he's on that grave, mate. there's no dry anywhere.
So, but it was the same art director.
Yeah. His name is Richard Graves, also known as
for God's
Dick
sake.
Graves.
Get in the bin. Get in the bin. Get in the bin. Okay, back to actual content about this film. So Saltburn's filmed in 4:3, right?
Yeah.
Which is a very square, sort of much older aspect ratio, designed specifically for portraiture.
Yes.
Widescreen's really good at landscapes. It's really good at showing like scale. But what's good about this is you get 4:3, which is much more natural for an actor's performance, but also the height of the rooms, man.
Dude.
Like the character of the house itself and Saltburn as a character in the narrative.
Yeah.
You need 4:3 to be able to see just how grand this place is.
Yeah, it's fucking stunning.
It's stunning, but it also adds to this kind of sense of you get to see the environment that it all happens in. You get to see the staff in the background all looking but not doing. Like there's a scene where a mirror's broken and it's fixed without a word being said. Like when the deaths happen and they go to breakfast. There's this weird thing of like everything is observed but nothing is done.
Right.
In Saltburn, there's this fly paper hanging off the chandelier.
There is.
When it's one of the establishing shots, and it's like it's indicating that this family want to be seen to be doing the right thing without actually having to commit to following through.
Okay.
So we put the fly paper up. The fly paper's up, flies are dealt with. It's like, yeah, but they're just hanging there dead. It's fine.
I kind of took that as like you can be as posh as you want, but you've still got the ugly, shitty little bits in between the cracks. It doesn't matter how far up that scale.
Yeah, okay,
of, like,
that's quite nice.
Monetary value you go. Like, it doesn't matter your wealth. There's still shitty bits in the crack. You know what I mean? Oliver's plan doesn't really take shape until he's at Saltburn, right? Right. And I think what he does is he's obsessed with Felix to a point of where he's like, I want that. I've worked my dick off to get to where I am now. I'm at Oxford on a scholarship, but I'm with all these posh toffs that have just fucking bought their way in or doing whatever.
Yeah.
I'm entitled to the same fucking life that they're having. Like, I'm entitled to that shit. And he has this thing. He's obsessed with Felix. He wants to be Felix. He sees himself as like, if I'm in with Felix, the cool, popular kid, I'm in with Oxford. I'm accepted into the upper ranks. You know what I mean? It's not true at all. He gets shunned by everyone else. And he'll take it on the chin because he can, fucking pull on Felix's heartstrings with the trauma tourism of like, oh, my daddy died. You can do all of that for Felix and he's up to shit. But then you've got, when he gets to Saltburn, I think his plan shifts and he's like, okay, so there's a way in here with Venetia. I think I could marry into this family through Venetia.
Okay.
Because there's no fucking way that he would risk fucking Venetia if he knew that Felix was going to react the way that he did. There was no way that he would risk that relationship with Felix for his sister. I think that plan forms after getting to Saltburn.
Yeah,
right.
I don't think he starts with a plan either. I think when he first sees Felix from his room, he's arrived. He's been mocked because he's wearing his sort of like Oxford best, and everyone else is rich as fuck, so they just wear casual clothes because they have nothing to prove. And he suddenly feels stupid and lonely, and he looks out of his window. And there's Felix, who's tall as fuck, attractive as fuck, surrounded by mates. And the first line of this film, I didn't love Felix. I wasn't in love with him, but I loved him. I think it's that sort of thing. If he sees him and he goes, everything that man is, I want to be. Right?
100%.
He doesn't have a clue how to be that, so he just starts by being near that. If I can just be near him, maybe I can get some reflected glory.
It'll rub off on me.
It's that sort of right. It's that obsessive desire and love for Felix, love for what Felix is, and desire to be that. And then I think he's always just planning the next step. That's his next thing.
I'm not sure that he's planning his next step.
Well, it's as in it's opportunistic. He sees an opportunity. He goes, I can do this. I don't think he's 100%. Planning any further ahead than that. It's not like he put the pin in the bicycle and was like, I'm going to take your house.
I'm going to munch your cum. As he's popping a bike tire,
exactly.
I get
exactly. Yeah.
So the ball thing, right? Ollie's a little bit of a voyeur, always looking in, always peeping, always watching, always lurking, looking at Felix. Ooh, I want to be that. Yeah, that's where I want to be. And then
voyeurism's a huge theme in this film.
Crazy. It's insane. But there's bits in this where when Ollie's like being pushed back, or his plan's not working to the way that he'd like it to, and he's not getting the result that he desires so much. Like there's a bit where he pisses off Felix by cleaning up his room, and Felix snaps at him and he's like, just get the fuck out, I'm going to do my revision. And Ollie's like, oh fuck, see you at the pub later, right? And he's like, yeah, maybe I'll text you. Doesn't text him. Ollie goes to the pub.
Ollie just turns up
at the pub, and he's in the little porch bit, and there's a window where he can look through the window and he can see Felix and fucking Farley and his friends like just there. And as he's looking through this window, he's outside looking in on the life that he wants to be a part of. There's a bull in a frame.
Yeah, it's like a little poster
of a bull thing. And he's like, he debates whether going in.
And the pub's called the Bull.
No. The Bull pub is on his way back when he's having a freak out. When he's like, fuck, it's gone. I had my chance, it's gone. He's freaking out. He's debating whether to go back or not. And then there's a pub called the Bull. And then obviously Felix's death under the Minotaur, which is like a big thing. So the little bit of symbolism research, because the symbolism in this film is insane. And if we're going to talk about it, it's an entire another fucking episode to just go.
It's another hour. Yeah.
There's no way of doing it. So the half human, half bull thing, it's a common symbol in like the half man, half beast, not fully human, not fully beast. And it's the fact that you're not bombarded with bulls everywhere. It's not telling you that this person is the beast that Oliver turns into. It's hinting at like a possible path that could be taken.
And it's subtle as well.
It's so fucking subtle. But I'm telling you, man, it's beautiful. The way that it's fucking done. Holy shit, buddy.
So what I loved about the symbolism in Saltburn is the subtlety is fantastic, but the references they give, so Midsummer Night's Dream, Theseus is a character in that. Theseus fought the Minotaur in Greek myth. The Minotaur was put in the labyrinth as a punishment for being hideous, right? They were kind of a half man, half beast thing, half god, half mortal.
Yeah.
But the little horns that he wears at the party in Saltburn, based on Shakespearean sort of iconography, whether they're called cuckold horns.
Okay.
And it's the whole thing of him being cuckolded out of this life. He's not part of it. He's not engaged in it. He just gets to watch it. So Farley, who's dressed as Bottom from Midsummer Night's Dream, because he's a donkey, which is what one of the characters in Midsummer Night's Dream gets turned into.
And he's also the bottom in the scene between Ollie and Farley.
Right?
Nice.
It's super tight. I imagine like Farley is.
I don't know. I don't know what a race car does to an arsehole. Do you know what I mean?
Farley spells it out for him. This isn't your life. You don't get to do this. You get to just watch and wank over it for the rest of your life. He's literally calling him like a social cuckold, and he's got the little horns. And I see that party being Ollie deciding that if he's going to be a horned creature, he's going to be a fucking monster and becoming the Minotaur rather than the cuckold.
Yeah, buddy.